Wait for everybody to start rolling in here. Oh, Fishing with Fitz is in here already. Man, he was on the ball. Dang, you got there quick. Oh. Usually takes about a minute and a half, and people start kind of registering. They'll start coming in. So it hasn't even showed him. It hasn't even showed your brother in there yet. So it's still on 0. All right, let's see here. Whoa. Drakester 64 says he made it, and the bass guy in the house. What's going on, man? And guys, I got a little story to tell you about Drakester. You'll like this kid. He is a full-on fisherman, I'll say that. Hank Snow, what's going on, dude? Wait for everybody to get rolling in here. Looks like the yard stream is taking a little bit of lag here for some reason. Hopefully the video is not lagging, but Hank, I seen you were putting up the or getting ready to drop the new video for the Funk Busters. That's pretty awesome. Can't wait to see that one. Catfish Slayers in the house. How's it going? Fishing with Fitz. Cumberland Pro Lures. What's going on, man? So Tom's in the house. What's up, guys? Got the grandson out for some bluegill action. Man, you always fishing while we're doing this. I'm a little jealous, I got to say. Hopefully, beginning this week, I can change that a little bit. I'll be actually fishing myself now they got the boat back. So, this guy says, you all been getting rain down there. Dude, we have got some rain. I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. I don't remember which day. I think it was Wednesday. Out at work, we ended up getting about 6 inches of rain in an hour and a half out of work. We had gullies and ditches dug everywhere. It was terrible. So, let's see here. But I do have a little treat for you guys tonight. Gabe will be coming in. He'll be here shortly. He had to take care of some stuff. He just got home from work, so he'll be in a little bit. But I'm going to introduce you guys to a new guy that been following on YouTube for a while. He's a younger guy. He's really getting into YouTube, does some good videos, does some really good editing. He's a northern fisherman up from Virginia, so he gets a little bit of the smallmouth, a little bit of the largemouth. So he's hammered some tanks I've seen. So I'll bring this guy in. His name's Chris. He is from Bubbaville Bassin.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, man?
Not too much. What's going on with you, dude?
Oh, not a whole heck of a lot. Just enjoying the live stream here. So you're from you're from probably around Richmond, I guess.
I'm a little bit south of Richmond.
A little south of Richmond. So you do a lot of largemouth. I've seen. Do you do a lot of smallmouth too?
The smallmouth are predominantly like towards the mountains or in the rivers, like towards the James River and all that. That's like one of our big rivers over here in Virginia, like towards Richmond, and then it goes up into the mountains. But I fish a lot of lakes and like reservoirs and stuff like that, small ponds, and
Gotcha. You guys
creeks.
got pretty deep lake or reservoirs up there?
We got 20 to 30 feet. One of our lakes used to be an old quarry, so it was like 90 feet deep in most spots, but most of them are almost 30 feet, give or take.
That's not bad. So
no, it's manageable.
So I'm guessing you guys are clear into your summer bites and everything like that. How's the fishing going up there right now?
It's going good. Everything's either deep chasing bait or just laying right on the bottom.
Right.
Either suspended or on the bottom most of the times.
Gotcha. Let's see. We got a couple of things coming in here. So, he says, don't be calling him Northern. Sorry, man. You're Northern. Let's see. Sounds like we've been waiting to have it appear. Fished a tournament in the rain on Saturday. So bass guy said he was fishing in the rain Saturday. I've actually got a tournament coming up Saturday too. I think we're going to hit some rain. You fishing tournaments or anything?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I fish tournaments all the time, dude.
Do you?
we got a little bit of a hurricane coming up on here, so we're getting a little outskirts of rain right now. But I don't know how it's going to affect our tournament. But it'll be put on hold, I would assume, because I don't want nobody getting tipped over out there. But we fish tournaments every other Saturday with the bass club called Rippin' Lips, and last August we won a tournament with 16 pounds deep cranking, some chartreuse crankbaits from Yozuri. They're the 3DB. Yeah. And I think it dove like 15 feet or something like that. But dude, we found a freaking bait ball that was big as a school bus, and we just found bass sitting right underneath of it. As soon as the bait would come up, we'd cast right through it, and we'd rip a 3-pounder every time. But
man, those are nice days to have. You just don't get them very often. So
that's one of those freak days where you just get on them and you don't look back.
Yeah, I hear you, man. So any of you guys have any questions for him, being from up north and stuff like that, and maybe how he fished? We've actually got David's not in here right now, but I know he's from Pennsylvania. He's a northern guy. So had a couple other guys in here too. I haven't seen them on yet, but I'm sure they'll be coming on shortly.
I can definitely say
coming on for about an hour into the show because they're you guys are an hour ahead of us, but it seems to be when everybody's coming in. I
can definitely say here in Virginia we get everything. We get hot heat, humidity, rain, snow, ice. So I guess Missouri is kind of the same way, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty humid here. We're definitely this week it actually cooled down quite a bit, so it's pretty decent. Last week and the week before, man, it was extremely humid, so it was pretty bad. Let's see, Bass Guy on here has got a little question for you put up there for her.
What are my favorite techniques? I love bottom fishing with a Texas rig or any type of bottom bait. And then my second favorite is top water. And then if I want to go to my third, it's going to be total finesse fishing with drop shots and stuff if nothing's ever working. But we all know how that works when you got to pull the drop shot out.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
Once Gabe gets on here, he's a whole lot more of a finesse guy than I am. Which here's another question for you. But before we answer that, we were actually, once Gabe gets on here, we're going to kind of go through some of our top, summer baits and this and that. But being as you mentioned that, I was going to pull this out. I've been using this one quite a bit here lately, just around my pond and stuff like that. I just got my boat back, so I haven't been lake fishing a whole lot. But this is. I'll see if I can get it up here. Hopefully this will show up. But this is the. Hang on, let me get it focused here. It's not going to focus probably, but that is the Cumberland Pro. That's their standard Ned head.
Right.
It's got a little wire guard on it and everything. I was actually just testing this thing out and kind of going through brush piles and stuff like that to see how bad they get hung up, and it actually came through pretty dang good. I was pretty impressed with it. But I like that. I like that little bit of a flatter design on that head. It doesn't get stuck in a whole lot of stuff. But I tell you what, that's been a go-to this part of the past probably month here. We got that summer lag going on. It got real tough. So I've been kind of finessing that a little bit. And like I said, I'm not a huge finesse guy, but something like that, I can definitely throw that. So I really like that stuff.
Yeah, I see one guy commented, he was asking what PB Smallie is. My PB Smallie is like a pound, dude. I've only been smallmouth fishing once.
Really?
Yeah, wow. I got all of largemouth down where I'm at in Virginia.
Wow, I figured you guys would be loaded with smallmouth around you. So
now they're more north, man, like towards the colder water coming from mountains and stuff.
Gotcha.
Everything here, water's like 88, 90 degrees, if not hotter. You could take a bath in that stuff.
Gotcha. To make sure everybody is the sound coming through all right, because we're kind of testing this out without a set of headphones on myself yet. But I just want to make sure nobody's getting a reverb or nothing. And late but on the ball here, and there is Mr. Tin Horse Monty. What's up, dude?
What's up, folks? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good deal, man. What's up, Bubbaville?
What's going on?
Not much, dude. Just rushing home from work and got some food in my belly. Got a change of clothes and got the Bluetooth earbuds rocking tonight. So we should be legit, man. And just as long as the mic's working, I'm good to go now.
Yeah,
you're good on my end.
So
sweet. Yeah, I just caught you guys. You were talking about little finesse fishing, I guess.
Yeah, I was bringing up that Cumberland Pro, that little finesse head, the standard.
Oh,
Man,
okay,
I tell you
gotcha.
what, I'm kind of really falling in love with that thing. And you know, I'm not a finesse guy.
Yeah, I'm impressed, man. Would you throwing that on 20-pound test?
No. No, that was actually on 8-pound braid actually.
Okay, braid.
I
Okay.
tell you what, I was extremely impressed with the feel of it. With that head on there, I could really feel everything. And I was fishing it. I was actually purposely putting it in brush piles and not getting hung up hardly at all.
Wow. Okay.
I'd get hung up a little bit and I could just shake it a little bit and it'd come right off. So for a Med head, with that little wire guard on there, that thing works really good. So
yeah,
that's pretty.
One of the companies that I've fished with, I'm not going to say the name because I don't want to like mess up your whole sponsor going on, but it's a Ned head and it's got a Texas rigged EWG hook in it. Mm-hmm. So you Texas rig the top and then come back through and everything is weedless, but with a net head. It's pretty neat.
That's nice. Yeah.
Started throwing those on the little tiny Cincos and stuff.
Yeah, let's say if you check out Cumberland Pro, they've got one. It's their Magnum shaky head. It's pretty much just like what you're saying, but it's actually got the head of it, is on a screw lock, but it swivels. So you don't have to worry about it getting caught anywhere, or that straight up and down and closing that gap where they come in a bite. It's pretty impressive. So you have to check it out.
I don't fish a Ned head hardly at all because of that reason, because they get hung up so much. It's something to do with that mushroom head design. The ones that I found that that work the best are like a ball head design. Right. And the ones there's some that have like a little fiber guard, weed guard. Now the one you were just showing, that Cumberland Pro one, the wire guard is better, but the best ones I found have an actual fiber guard, just like you would have in a standard jig.
Right.
So they seem to come through the rock of the cover a lot better. But man, they catch fish, man. I mean, they're little fish catchers, but you're always constantly going in and popping them off the rocks. It seems like you can't stay off of something because you're always going in. But that's just my experience. If you're fishing like pea gravel and smaller rock, then you're probably fine. But if you're fishing some kind of chunk rock stuff, it seems like you're always getting hung up.
Yeah.
I always find
he's the finesse guy. He fishes the finesse a lot more than I do, so he can tell you
a little bit.
When I'm fishing the little tiny stuff, I always find that tree branch that makes the Y and it just gets stuck.
Dude, I know, man. Every time, it's annoying.
But
you got to go in and get behind it.
I like fishing the small football jigs. That's screw lock. If y'all check out my channel with how I'm throwing my baits and stuff, that little football jig I throw, it stands everything up, and when it hops, and then that current or the wind's pushing it, moves your appendages just like that. The bass love that stuff. You just let dead stick it and leave it right there.
Mm-hmm.
Or I just throw a 10-inch worm, like a little. It's kind of like a trick worm, but it's way softer and it's got more limberness to it. It's not just like stiff.
Yeah, that's a good call. So do you fish? You fish lakes, rivers, combination of everything, or
I fish pretty much anything I can fish. Like I fish tournaments every other Saturday. I fish big rivers. I fish lakes, reservoirs, ponds.
So I don't know if you can answer that. Maybe I'll say I'm sure that Gabe and I would have no input for that one.
I see people use a lot of jerk baits and drop shots and shaky heads in Michigan because the stuff's so deep and clear. When I watch MLF and stuff, I see Kevin Van Dam just ripping a jerk bait through Michigan all the time.
Right, yeah.
But everything's usually schooling on rock piles. I know that, especially your smallmouth.
Yeah, I talked to Ron DeRosa. He's kind of our smallmouth guy. He fishes Mille Lacs a lot, and I was speaking with him last night, and he said he's going to put off going back up there for another couple of weeks because the fishing's just really tough right now. A lot of the guys he talks with, his other guide buddies up there, they fish boulders a lot out there on Mille Lacs, and he was saying sometimes you have to get off those boulders. You catch more big fish on boulders, but to catch the smaller fish, the more numbers, you have to fish some of the grass lines and some of the grass flats. So I know that plays a lot up there in the north. And he's typically fishing. Go ahead.
They like those mouths and little finger coves right where I buy all the boat docks and stuff that I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
But up here in the James River, when I caught smallmouth, I just used a little tiny crappie grub that was, white, a little curl tail on the end. I just flicked that around and caught a couple, but I didn't do nothing too serious because everything was so, shallow, and we just took a kayak to the James with all the rocks and stuff. So, but I didn't get to get too serious with it.
You got a lot of snakeheads up there?
Oh, dude, I crushed an 8-pound one. I think it was February on a white chatterbait. Dude, it felt like I hooked into like a 10-pound bass, and it just started alligator rolling. And
yeah,
my buddy took him home and ate him.
So not to interrupt you guys here, but she was asking Gabe before you got on. She was asking tell us about the kid I mentioned earlier. So we'll drag him up here just real quick. I'm sure he's still on there. He's probably just listening in the background. So this is Drake. So Drake is one of my boss's sons. So he's been wanting to go fishing. He does a lot of creek fishing. And he tells me that he said fishing a lake. How did he put that? Fishing a lake was easier than fishing a creek. So we're going to go fishing Thursday out of my boat and do a little lake fishing. But he did warn me and already told me ahead of time that he was going to go and, do a major cleanup there. So he was going to put a butt whooping on me.
Oh, at the lake?
Yep, at the lake. So we'll have a video coming out for that probably Monday, I guess, and we'll kind of see how that goes. So
that should be interesting.
I hope he catches
a challenge,
it,
huh? He challenged you.
Yeah.
Well, that's good, man. Yeah, I hope you guys crush them, man.
Yeah. So
I want to see how you're doing it right now.
Yeah, it's. I'm sure it's going to be a tough bite, but we'll see what it does or how it goes. But see, Fishing with Fish said I want to catch a snakehead so bad. Now you guys have snakeheads up there, don't you?
Yeah, that's what he was just saying. I've been seeing a lot of videos of the guys catching those big snakehead. They're a really cool looking fish. They're
they taste so good too.
Down here. Oh, really? Are they real bony or not?
No, they're actually clean white meat. It's like that thick, and you can get like foot-long strips of it, man. It's like a Chinese or was it Japanese or Chinese? I can't remember. But one of them said it's a delicacy, and like my buddy Shinbone, if you watch my channel, Shinbone's always talking about like I got to eat those. Like when we catch them, we just throw them in the live well and eat them. But if y'all don't know, for snakeheads, y'all have to kill them before you transport them, or else they'll try to get you for transporting a live snakehead. So
really,
okay,
yep.
Since they're an invasive species.
Oh yeah, I can definitely see that. Yeah, I think there's a few places that have them around here. I think that are just kind of here hit and miss. But I'd heard somebody was catching them in, I guess, the river. But I could definitely see them living in there. But
yeah, they're mainly river fish unless someone puts them in somewhere.
Yeah,
we have a fish around here called a bowfin or a grinnell that has a similar appearance to that. They're not all camouflaged out like the snakehead, but they got the same kind of look to them.
Yeah, the bowfin meat's really mushy.
Dude. Yeah, and I don't think they're nearly as toothy either, right?
Yeah, they're toothy.
I don't know, man. I wouldn't lip them. They're nasty.
Got plenty
they roll,
of teeth.
They do all the stuff. Yeah, I had a big one. I caught about a 10-pounder on a swim bait one time, fishing a little shallow like cypress tree lily pad lake around this area, and it was nasty. I mean, they don't play. They get rowdy.
They love deoxygenated water. Like when you got like the mud and no oxygen in the water at all, like next to a cypress tree, you throw a Cinco or something in there, they'll have that thing off in the middle of the lake in no time.
Huh. They're like a true trash fish, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're fun to catch if you're not catching bass, but if you're bass tournament, you're like, oh, it's like a pickerel or something, or catfish.
Yeah, right.
Like,
yeah, we get plenty of catfish around here. There ain't nothing worse than crankbaiting and catching one of them things in the side.
I was doing a monster bass slam the other day for my monster bass stuff, and I threw a spinnerbait out. It was a Lunker Hunt thumper, and I had the big old Colorado blade on there. I was bringing it along, I was thumping, and then boom, big old blue cat hit it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the hardest bite you'll get too, man. I mean, they crush it. They just you
think
you won the tournament.
The first journal he ever caught demolished his spinnerbait at Smithland Pool.
Mm-hmm.
I can
They're
believe
a very
that.
mean fish.
I seen Chuck made it in, and Drake says, "What's my PB Smalley?" I think mine's probably 4.5. That was out of Kentucky Lake, so
Mine's right behind me there somewhere. Let's see.
Hey, you're going the wrong way.
Going the right way. Am I going the wrong way?
There you go.
Can see it in the background. That was almost a 5-pounder. That was Kentucky Lake as well. That's been a while ago.
You know,
That was
y'all
on a
hear me?
Chad wrap. Yeah, I got you.
All right.
So there you go. Catfish Slayer on the ball tonight. Look at that.
Yeah, I can still hear you, Bubbaville. You're froze up, but I can still hear you.
Yeah, y'all were froze a second ago.
Okay, I'm still moving, I think.
Yeah, you're
I
still
got
moving.
I got that hurricane coming through, so it might be messing up with the service.
Oh, wow.
Well, it's not through yet, but it's windy.
I was running across the lake last night. This has happened a couple times, but it was dark and I was just running off my GPS and I had the heading line above, out in front of the boat as I'm running. And all of a sudden it just went completely to the north. So I'm running east and all of a sudden my heading direction line just went completely to the north and it's pitch black. Well, actually it's a full moon in the water. We got all that rain last night. And so there was a lot of fog and it was actually very eerie out there. So I'm running across the lake and all of a sudden my heading sensor just goes all the way to the north and you kind of freak out because your bearings are already messed up because it's night.
Yeah, no
and
kidding.
So I just, and I know the lake really well. I knew where I was at. I was right out in the middle of it, but it caused me to go off the throttle, as a tiller handle. So I kind of shut it down to about 10 miles an hour and I kept idling and then it kicked back around and straightened back up and I took off. So I don't know what I went through. There was a little like Bermuda Triangle zone or something. I don't know if it was like something came in between the satellite and my GPS puck or something and threw it off like it was a bunch of geese flying over. I don't know what it was, but it was scary for a second.
Huh. Yeah, that'll scare the crap out of you anytime you're running on a lake at night.
Yeah, exactly.
And I tell you what, I see a lot of, when we go down to Lake of the Ozarks, there's so many night tournaments down there. And them guys, man, they fly down there. And they're doing 50, 60 miles an hour in that lake, at night. And I'm like, there ain't no way.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a 30 mile an hour. I think there's a 30 mile an hour speed limit after dark.
Oh, I'm sure there probably is. Yeah. I'm sure they don't abide by it either. But
I was fishing a tournament one time over in Chickahominy Lake, and we had like 5 jet skis roll past us, and then like 2 or 3 bass boats, and there was like 4 tournaments going on in Chick Lake. They have a levee where it opens up to Chick River. Well, Chickahominy River, for those of y'all that don't know. But they have a levee that opens up, and people can come in and out. If you want to fish the river, you can. But we were fishing a bunch of cypress trees, and I was fishing this old broken boat ramp. And this one dude came flying past us, and then the game warden ended up getting him because he was flying so fast, with all these tree roots and stuff sticking up, and that's not really smart to do. But
no,
that's how people die.
Yeah,
I mean, I see people in jet boats doing crazy stuff, but they only got to have like 4 inches of water to run. It's a completely different thing.
Yeah, my buddy was telling me one time that he's seen a dude hit a floating log doing like 70. The motor came off the boat and like ended up chopping his arms off, dude. It was nuts.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll say, I think Gabe and I both know a guy that used to fish tournaments around us that he passed away down at Kentucky Lake. It's kind of the same thing. He caught a cable. He wasn't driving. Another guy was driving, but they caught a cable underneath the bridge with the motor, and it come up and hit him in the back of the head, killed him right there. So
yeah, there's a lot of guys that will run with a seat on the pedestal on the back deck just in case that happens. So if that motor does pop off, at least hit something, and it's not going to totally stop it, but it could deflect it or at least slow it down.
Right.
It's kind of a safety thing.
Gabe, I think this is a question for us.
Oh, so how do you like fishing in heavy vegetation? Man, I wish I had heavy vegetation right now. It's frustrating this year. We've had the lakes that I like to fish have had so much boat traffic this year that it's kept that vegetation from matting, and the water level will come up a foot, and then it'll just start coming back down, and the stuff will just start to mat up slightly. And then we get more rain and it keeps coming up. So it's just teasing me. It's just been a constant tease. But I like punching, man. No surprise there. If we could ever get some matted vegetation. And I've tried it and I've caught a few fish, but it's just not consistent. I think it's going to be a fall deal. I think probably about October-ish. I think everything's going to kind of settle down a little bit. Maybe a lot of these guys will get out in the woods and they'll quit running around the boat or all around the lakes in their boats, and things will slow down. I actually got a punch rig right here. Believe it or not.
What, dude?
I carry
Okay, now,
I carry a
Chris,
punch rig with me everywhere I go. I take a shower with one.
Chris, just to warn you, when Gabe comes to bring anything, you're gonna swear up and down his boat is sitting beside him. Because he brings so much stuff. I mean, he just starts pulling out of his pockets and out of his hat and everywhere. It's everywhere.
Come prepared,
Hey,
man. You never know.
I'm on the boat right now, actually. I got everything right at my fingertips.
Heck yeah. Yeah, mine's in the other room, so just out in the garage there. No, when it gets thick, I'm gonna be going with this. I got an 1.5 ounce tungsten weight on here. I got a honey badger punch skirt, and then I just got a this is just a beaver in the Dirty Sanchez color. And that right there gets it done. I like that. I kind of like that punch skirt. It depends. You know, you got to try it with and without. It just depends. You got to let the fish tell you. But that's where I'm starting at right there. That heavy. That
What
6.
size
And
hook
of course,
do you
a
run?
frog.
3-aught?
4-aught.
4-aught?
4-aught in this beaver. Yep. Now, if I drop down to a, sometimes I flip like the cricket or a speed crawl or a baby brush hog, then I'll go down to a 3. But just for a standard beaver or a D-bomb, something like that, I'm going with the 4.
Yeah. I imagine you use,
Yep.
65 or higher up braid?
I actually use 50. I go a little bit lighter
50?
than most people. Yeah, but 50 or 65 is definitely
what
going to
I-
work for you.
I'm a 52.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never had a problem with it. It casts okay. I know you know 65 casts a little bit better. A lot of times it won't dig into your spool as much, but I don't know. For me, it makes me feel like I'm being a little more finessey. I got 50-pound test, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, real fantastic. Yeah,
Oh,
I
my
see
head.
Nick said his vegetation down there is out of control on his pond and lakes. That's down in Florida. Which I'm
Jeez.
sure that's kind of an ongoing deal down there. So
See, when I'm punching, I
about you,
like to use my
Bubbaville?
wide spool. I like to use my wide spool. I got extra braid on there, so when it gets crunched, it don't get stuck.
There you go.
I like to use a heavy 7'6" Fitzgerald fishing rods, Okeechobee rod. It can hold up to 80-pound braid, and 7'6" gives me that prime action where I can actually lift it up and like yo-yo it back through and drop it. But
Mhm.
I like throwing like a beaver with some type of punch skirt. It's either I'll go 1/2 ounce or ounce with a 3 or 4-aught flipping hook. I think I use a VMC. It's got that little keeper on the back of it, so that way when you Texas rig, you can lip the back end part of that worm on there, so that way it don't slide up. And I just peg it with a I forget what they're called. They're like a rubber. They kind of look like a toothpick, but
Yeah.
they're rubber, and they got a T end on it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah, I
think they called them
just use the
something
bobber
else.
stops, but
or peg.
yeah, maybe it's a T
Yeah,
peg.
peg. Yeah, it's a T peg. Yep.
Gotcha.
See, Joe said Table Rock was horrible. No one was paying attention to anyone flying around like they were the only one on the lake. It was scary. Yeah, that's never a fun deal when you're in a boat. Say Chuck said the ponds up here were almost unfishable with heavy mats. Hardly able to punch through. A lot of frog fishing right now. Chuck, I tell you what, man, if they were throwing frogs on that and the fish were coming through it, I'm going in there with a 2-ounce tungsten weight. I'll get through there. That's like I said, what Gabe said a while ago, that's one of our favorite things to do, is punching mats. And we get some mats around here, but they're not, thick like it in other places.
Yeah, you don't got no Florida
Right.
mats just laying around anywhere.
No, we don't have hyacinths and all that. No,
Yeah, we
I
mainly got
typically-
pads and coontail.
Really,
Mm-hmm.
I'm typically like 1 ounce to 1.25 ounces most of the time. I was flipping some cheese mats back there at Paul Ice on Kincaid the other day. That's why I had to put that 1.5 ounces to break through. But it wasn't the mats that I like are that kind of the coontail, milfoil, like the red top stuff. It's not that cheesy stuff. You can get through it and pull your stuff out pretty easy. That cheese, man, it's a lot of work. It gets on your braid and it's just a pain in the butt. I mean, fish use it, but I'd rather have just the milfoil tops.
Yeah. So Bass Guy wants to know what line you use for punching.
Go ahead, man.
Well, I used to use Power Pro, but it kind of got on the cheaper side. Like everything gets discolored really quickly, and it just tends to snap and like separate. Like you see where like it looks like a kid just went along and just took a razor blade to it, and it just gets like that really quickly. And I'm gonna start fishing Fitzgerald fishing the Versa braid. It's some new stuff that my rod company has, and well, not my rod company, but my sponsor. They have that new Versa braid out, and I know Fitz uses it a lot. Fishing with Fitz down in the comments, he says he loves it, so I'm gonna give it a try. But other than that,
Okay.
the Power Pro just falls apart now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that. There's a lot of companies that are coming out with line now. It's kind of a trend the last year or so, which is
Same thing
cool
with
because
tungsten.
if you've got a rod sponsorship that you're working with, it just gives you access to something else that you need, which is fishing line. Everybody needs fishing line. Everybody needs tungsten. So yeah, that's great. I've just used Power Pro forever, and it does fade a little bit, but and I know what you're saying. It will fray out, but I'm talking. It takes a long time. I don't know how many punches I've made with the line that's on there now, and it's due. It's due for a change. But I've used the Suffix. I've used several different ones, but I just keep coming back to the Power Pro because of the price point. And braid. The good thing about braid is it lasts for a long time. If you want to take a Sharpie and blacken it up, that'll get you a little bit, several more months out of it.
Right.
But there's a lot of good braids out there on the market.
Or like I do, you just get 2 empty spools, drag it all the way off your line with a cordless drill on one spool, and then drag it onto the next spool. And that way all your new stuff's at the end, and then you can put it back on your line.
Yeah, I do that a lot.
Idea, man.
Either that or I'll half spool my my reel with junk mono and then put the braid over it.
Yeah.
That's typically what I do. I do that with all my line. I typically put about 75 to 80 yards of fresh fluoro when I'm, respooling. I don't go all the way down to the spool.
Dude, that Lose Super Duty is a killer for line. It holds 300 yards.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Sure.
So
Yes,
that's
sir.
why I put that backing. But, when you're trying to make those long topwater casts, that reel does great because you're not spooking nothing.
Yeah, I got a couple of the BB1 Pros, and they're a wide spool like that. And yeah, you can launch a bait with them for sure.
You got
They're good
does it got the
reels.
braid ready hole in it on the spool?
You know what? I don't know. I think so. It's been so long since I've re-spooled it that I don't know what's underneath there anymore.
Yeah, they just started doing that, I think, 2 or 3 years ago, which is really awesome. That's a nice feature for a spool. So that way you don't have to tie that knot and actually have it, hold it while you reel for a second. You tie that knot
Right.
and you just keep going.
Yeah. They've come up with a lot of new improvements.
So I guess you
I
guys
like
aren't spider wire fans, huh?
and I don't like spider wire, dude.
I haven't
I
used
have
spider
problems
wire
with
since
it.
I was in high school, I think.
3rd grade. Yeah. I've used it, but it's been a long time ago.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all right if you need to grab something quick.
They actually came out with they had some sinking braid that spider wire made
Huh.
a while back. That
Didn't they have some
was kinda
flat
cool.
stuff?
They might
Some flat
have.
braid?
They might have.
Because I know Power Pro uses that Slick 8.
Right. Yeah, I've used that too. I'm not too much of a fan of that either. I don't know. It's okay on spinning rods. I used a lot of 15-pound braid on my spinning gear.
I think
Yeah,
it's only
I
good
like
for
those.
catfishing, so it doesn't mat up when you
Yeah,
set
Chuck
hooks into
said-
big cats.
Yeah. Chuck said Seaguar Smackdown Stealth Gray and the 65-pound is a really good braid. And then, David made it in. There he is. I was telling you, there's a northern guy. He's up there. Like I said, he's in Pennsylvania. So, well, Whitewell said anyone got any gar chips. Oh man, did you see that?
No.
They
What's a
put-
gar
Oh
chip?
yeah,
he
I
put it
seen
on
that.
Instagram. I think it was. I don't know if it was Lay's or Rip. I don't know what brand.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Gar flavored
Gar
chip.
flavored. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was like the pickle version, but gar.
Yeah, it was nasty. I was like, oh.
I don't know. I tried.
Dude, we
Holy
whacked the
cow,
7.
Hang on, guys. This guy right here, I haven't seen in a while, and I'm glad to see him back. This is Full Armor Bassin. It's good to see you, Adam.
I
Yeah,
haven't seen
man,
him
I
in a
hope
long
you're,
time.
Yep. So
Yeah, he had a little accident, man. I hope
Yeah.
hope his wrist is healing up properly.
Yep. So
Yeah, he probably don't remember me. What's up, Full Armor Bassin? You subbed to me 3 years ago, I think. It gets confusing once you get everybody on here, and you're like, "Who's that guy?"
yeah.
Well, we were talking about snakeheads a while ago, and he's got some pretty good head footage from the last couple of videos.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's got them pretty thick and heavy where he's at, which is in Virginia, right? He's in Virginia.
Yeah, Virginia. Yep.
Is he in Virginia?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm not sure. Yeah, you guys need to DM each other and.
Yeah, he does
Set
some
up a
real good
fishing trip
videos.
or
I know I think his oldest son. I think he does a lot of the editing, so he's getting really good at it too.
Dude, their bloopers are nuts, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome. So I'm glad to see them back. So let's see here. We got anybody else that I missed up here? There was a couple comments I was kind of skipping over here. Let's see.
Hey, Full Armor, if you can hear me, see if we can link up on Instagram later, see what part of Virginia you're from. I'm from Virginia as well.
Oh, he just put it on there. There you go.
Fredericksburg. Okay. I'm in Saluda, basically right by Gloucester almost. So I'm sure you've heard of that. Because I think Fredericksburg is like an hour and 20 minutes away from me. So.
Gotcha. So let's see. Yeah, and just let you guys know if you're interested in subscribing to Bubba. I can't talk right now. Bubbaville Bassin. I got everything linked down below. I mean, he's got Instagram, he's got his YouTube page on there and everything. And also, he was talking earlier. You got a giveaway you're actually doing, correct?
Yes, sir.
So if you wanted to throw that out there too, make sure they know about that.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to get to. I saw Hank said he subscribed to me. I'll hook you up right after I get off here, brother. But my giveaway is a certain bait company. If y'all want to see what that is, can I say that on here?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead,
So,
man. That's fine.
I partnered up with Venom Baits to do a pond hopper giveaway, which is a bag of baits that's roughly like I think $70, but you can get it on their website for $40. But it's a pond hopper package, and it's designed for someone to take to a pond and just use. As long as you have a fishing pole, it's got tube jigs, Senkos, wacky rig hooks, regular EWG 3/0 hooks, tube jig hooks. And then it's got a beaver and then a sweet dream crawl, which is like a regular crawl with like ribbed sides on it. And then it's got like ribs on the appendages, and it's all green pumpkin. Thank you, Fitz. I appreciate that, buddy.
I used to fish some venom stuff. I didn't know that they were still around.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah.
Okay, cool.
I see them quite a bit on Instagram. So.
Yeah, they grown quick, dude. Like on my video, I was like, if y'all want to win, just subscribe to my channel and Venom's channel. And Venom's grown a lot, but I think they got like 60,000 something followers on Instagram.
Wow.
Dang.
Okay.
But
it's one of those I just haven't checked that back with them. I had a bunch of their stuff. It's been several years ago, but there was a day where that crawl that you're talking about, that was all I could get bid on, and I went through a whole pack of those, and that's the last I've had of any of their stuff. So I made it to look into that.
Now you're on all them Guggen baits.
Yeah, right. Whatever.
I've never even thrown one of those.
Them out of your boat.
Yeah, oh man. Just loft that one up there for the swing.
Well, stick with your Venom, man. You'll be just fine.
So,
but dude, as far as Venom goes, like I get their 50 packs, and I have to keep a 50 pack of each worm I like the 10-inch peppergrass worms or the better beavers or, stuff like that. And then the drop shot worms are pretty neat.
Gotcha.
Okay.
But yeah, I got a giveaway going on, guys. So if y'all want to check it out, just head over to the channel and subscribe and leave a comment, and then hopefully y'all can get taken care of for winning the old giveaway.
All right, man.
That's a great deal, man. I like that idea of having a pond hopping setup or a bag or whatever you called that. That makes a lot of sense. That's pretty cool.
Dude, it's awesome, man. For a kid, like if a kid wants to grab that, dude, it'd be perfect to just throw in a book bag and go.
Yeah, that's great. So, all right, Chris. Well, we're going to get in. We got some other stuff to go over here and everything. We appreciate you joining us, and definitely have to have you again. So, like I said, for you guys that aren't subscribed over to Bubbaville Bassin, like I said, everything's down in the description. So go down there, hit him up, give him a like, a share, and give him a subscription. It's greatly appreciated. So it's one of them things that YouTubers just got to look out for each other. We got to help each other out. So
I'll check out your channel. I'll check out your channel after this, man. Can I ask you one question though, real quick, man?
Yes, sir.
Where's Bubbaville come from?
All right.
How did you get your name?
My last name is Norville. Okay. So my family
Okay.
called me Bubba when I was little. So that's basically everybody knows me as Bubba. So I put Bubba and then Bill together, and then I put Bassin, and it just sounded awesome, and that's what I made.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
Cool.
That works
but
perfect, man.
one thing I'd like to say before I get out of here, if any of my subs are in here or anybody that follows me, go check out Backyard Bassin, man. He does some great stuff as well. So, you know.
And if you want to know about some really in-depth stuff, the Tin Horse Monty channel is where it's at. I'm telling you. He does a lot more videos than I do, which hopefully I'll get back in the swing of things here now. But
Yeah.
Does
I do what I can do, and I can do it.
Does he have a channel too?
yes, he does. Yep, it's all
Okay, I'll check him out.
So,
Yeah.
All right,
Go
guys.
check me out, and I'll check you out.
All right, I appreciate it.
all
That's
right,
awesome.
Give you a big group hug.
All right.
all right.
Fist
All right,
bump.
see you, man. Take care. Yeah.
So now we can actually get on to doing some of. Did you bring your summer baits?
Yeah, man. I got all kinds of stuff. I can't even hardly
I
walk.
knew you would.
I'm like in my little.
How big of a rush you were in? You were going to do it.
I grabbed a bunch of rods. I didn't actually. I got some new baits too. I got a little bit. I got all kinds of stuff laying out here. I've been making some orders, man. I got some plastics laying around here.
Gotcha. I kept it kind of simple, just not necessarily colors, but just different things I use in the summer, for tough summer bites or whatever. But we can kind of roll through it. Ain't no big deal. Which I showed one earlier, and that was that Ned head I've been trying out. I'm telling you, man, I like that thing. I was pretty stoked.
I think it's so funny how you got somebody said don't say the G word, and then which is what the G word is, and then you got David on there. You can't say that in his house or he'll kick you out in the yard. Apparently.
Ron said we will watch Feeder in his milfoil.
Fighter.
I did not.
I didn't. I watched. I tried a bunch, but for some reason, I tried. Was it Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to get on Bassmaster off of my phone, and it was so delayed. And then when I got the stream going, it would stream for not even that long, like 30 seconds, and then it would freeze, and then it would freeze, and then it would start again, and it got so annoying. I went over to FLW and watched their tournament, and it was flawless, the stream. So I don't know if anybody else had that on their, on their mobile. I know it worked great on the computer because Sunday when I was at home, I pulled it up on the PC and was checking it out. I think it was Sunday, yeah, and it was fine. But something to do with the mobile app was screwed up. So I just watched a lot of the FLW stuff, which was cool because Tom Mansour won, and I was really hoping that he would win. I didn't want Jacob Wheeler to win. He's been winning too much. He needs to share.
Man, he's a stud.
He's out of control, man. He's, in my opinion, he's the best fisherman right now.
Yeah, I tell you what, he's
definitely
not
top
quite
5
there yet, but he's leading up to be that next Brian Thrift.
Right.
So,
as far as being on fire, just a threat to any kind of lake that he shows up to. It doesn't matter, it doesn't matter where he's at. He's gonna.
Yeah,
he's definitely a threat.
It's been his 2 years, we'll say. He's just been on. He's been on it.
Yeah, but I think Fighter was flipping boat docks, like in between boats and shallow boat docks with some milfoil in there. And I know he likes the braid, the fluoro leader. I think he ties that FG knot with a heavy fluorocarbon leader, say 20-pound fluoro. Does a lot of his flipping like that. So I imagine that's what Ron is talking about. Which you've got to tie that FG knot when you're doing that. Because most knots you're just going to snap it off. Maybe there's another knot. I've tried a couple of them and I keep breaking it. I break it off.
Yeah, I'll say that double.
I don't even do it.
The
blood knot or the double uni knot.
The double uni knot. You'll have that problem. You'll snap it. Mm-hmm. So, and that's a strong knot. But you start popping that line, and it will not last. Especially with braid. The braid is, I think, the worst.
Yeah, I see Ron saying it was a lighter setup, ring took, bobber stop a bit above it, and braid to fluoro leader. That's something I've been doing lately. Is I've been putting, even on my Texas rig, I typically don't peg my Texas rig if I'm fishing around grass, and I've been putting a bobber stop on there and just leave it 6 inches above, 4 to 6 inches above that weight. So you still got a free swinging weight. And then if you get into where you're going to be pitching into some heavy cover, like some wood and stuff, and you think you need to peg that, you just slide that bobber stop down. Mm-hmm. So it's like having both in one, which is it's complete common sense. And why doesn't everybody do that? And it just I've been doing that a lot lately, and I kind of like that. You got two options there without having to reach high.
Yeah, definitely. That's kind of like my whole Carolina rig set up like that. Doing that exact same thing. You can adjust it real easy and go back down or whatever.
Yeah, I don't even know what a ring hook is. I guess I'm out of the loop on the ring hook. I hear Ron talking about it. I heard David talking about it.
So John Morris made it. How's it going, man? So I guess you want to start out deep or you want to start shallow?
Well, let's start out deep because that's what's going on right now.
Okay.
So that's basically what's been going on.
I'll tell you what. I'll pull out a couple different ones here. What's
up, John? See John Morrison here.
So
9
I've
loop
got
whatnot.
Probably 3 of my top. Well, say 4. I got 4 of my top baits. We'll just say for deep water. We'll kind of see what you go on here. So I'll throw the first one out there, and that's going to be that big old jelly worm.
Good God. Did you get that out of the zoo?
Well, no, I'll leave it right there.
Like a zoo. That's a zoo-worthy specimen there.
Yeah, that old jelly worm, man. That's been a killer for so long. I love that bait. So that's probably one of my big ones. I do like the simple fact they've got that plastic on is a little bit stronger, so it does last longer. But
yeah.
I'll throw that out Carolina rigged. I'll throw it out just Texas rigged. Now, I will say one thing, even fishing deeper water, I'm going to say 20-foot water, I'll still go down to a 1/4 ounce weight. I mean, that worm's got enough weight to it or whatever. I just want to barely feel that bottom, just enough to feel that worm and that action. But I think with bigger worms, a lot of times they come up and they suck that thing in and just gradually swim off with it. So I think it's the same thing with Carolina rig. You end up doing that, and they end up choking that thing half the time. You don't even know they're on there.
Yeah, it amazes me how they can get that worm in their mouth. So what pound test and what size hook?
So if I'm fishing out 20 foot, deep, I'm usually going with a 5/0 hook on these, or even up to a 6/0 hook. And then I'll usually, like I said, 1/4 ounce tungsten. Maybe I'll go up a little bit higher than that, depending on how deep it really is there. But 20-pound fluorocarbon all day long on that.
Okay.
As far as rod and reel, I mean, it's typically a 7.6, something like that. I'm not going to go up to an 8-foot or nothing like that, but.
Yeah, I've got some of those jelly worms. I've thrown them a little bit, but I certainly haven't given them enough time. I know they work.
They're one of those things that, I mean, it's a big meal sitting in their face, and I think they have a hard time passing that big meal up. And these things, they look natural, I guess, in the water is the thing. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, I've had a lot of those.
I'm trying to see what I want to show right now. I guess you're talking about fishing out deeper. Something I've been getting a few bites on is just a big football jig. Just a 3/4 ounce. That's what this is, 3/4 to 1 ounce. And I got a big rage crawl in the back. Whatever kind of crawl trailer. But this is good. If you're trying to get a big bite, I got a buddy that's been putting a brush hog on the back, like a full-size brush hog.
Holy cow.
Get some bites doing that. Yeah, that's just a really big presentation. But nothing crazy here, just a football jig, 3/4 ounce. I'm throwing that on 17 to 20-pound fluorocarbon, same thing. Just fishing out deep, any kind of rock, any kind of points, that kind of stuff. So
I'll say, when you get into the bigger rock, the bigger riprap, stuff like that, do you get away from that football head?
The bigger rock, like
the
chunk rock, you just got to work it different. You can't really drag it as much.
Right.
You gotta hold your rod tip up a little bit higher and just almost, instead of popping it, you almost got to pull it over the rocks. And then, I don't know, my theory on that is you kind of got to keep it feeling light.
Right.
I don't know if that makes sense, but
that's
you got to
exactly
move it a little more.
I was bringing that point up was, I like that Arky style for fishing that riprap rock and stuff like that, deeper water, because I get hung up in a less is what I should say, and it's only ½ ounce. But like you just said, you keep that little bit lighter of a tension. It seems to help out a bunch. Now, both of us know that 7/16 jig is phenomenal for that, but it's hard to fish. 20 foot deep, it gets a little tough sometimes.
Yeah, you got to fish a smaller trailer, but yeah, I know with that Arky head you're showing, that's a killer, man. That comes through rock really well. But I have to fish my you can't just drag it as much. That's typically I like to drag a football jig for the most part, but you got to hold your rod tip a lot higher and kind of you got to be paying attention. You got to be focused when you're trying to fish that thing.
You can't do hard hops.
It's tricky. Right. So, but yeah, jig's killer right now. I mean, I've been catching a few fish on a jig.
Yeah.
So
now I'm sure you'll probably have this one in your arsenal too. The old monster worm. I mean, that's
monster's good.
I mean, that's an all-time absolute favorite for out deep. Carolina rig, Texas rig. However you want to do it, but that's another go-to for me.
Yeah, and I've been fishing. I've been fishing the next one down, which is the Zoom Mag 2. So the Zoom Mag 2 it's a 9. They're saying it's a 9-inch worm, and it is, but it's a lot of tail. It's got a really small profile. But this is kind of what I've been getting more bites on lately, for some reason, and that happens sometimes. Sometimes they'll want the 10.5-inch worm, and then sometimes they won't even look at that, and you got to drop down to that little bit smaller worm. But the same thing, I still got grass on here. 1/4 ounce weight, and I like to throw a 3/0 hook on that, which some people will think that's too small of a hook. But what it does, if you got a 5/0, it's coming down to right here. It's hitting the body, so you're losing your action. If you got that little bit smaller hook, you got all this tail action, and it makes a big difference. I think you get a lot more bites with that smaller hook. And like you said earlier, they stick the whole worm in for the most part. I mean, if you're getting these little taps, you're not going to hook that fish anyway. You got to wait for them to suck it in. And then that 3/0 hook is plenty. I like to use the Gamakatsu Superline. The Superline hook's a little bit beefier hook, but the 3/0 EWG Superline hook, or the VMC Heavy.
Yeah, I'll tell you one hook that I've really, really gotten into this year, and that's the owner hooks. Those are
Owner makes good hooks.
Stout hooks. Holy cow.
Yeah. Well, see, and that makes sense because you like the Trocar, and the Trocar have that cutting point on the top of the hook. That's that little wedge that's sharp, and that's a lot of the owners have that too. They have that little cutting.
That one right there. Oh, let's see if I can get it up here.
I'm talking about on your hook point. Yeah. Okay, I see it now. Yep. See, so that the owners have that on their hook too.
Yeah.
So it blows the top of that bait wide open. The hook's going to penetrate.
Yeah, definitely. So might as well bring this in before you do.
Crankbait. Here you go. Got a 6XD?
Yep, that's 6XD. All the way up. Even the Norman, the DD22s, stuff like that. I mean, that's an all-around just favorite for summertime bass fishing. Now, like I've said 100 times before, this color right here is not something I throw very often late in the summer because everybody else has already thrown it. That's usually when I try to go a little bit more different color. But you get that, talking about that tough summer bite, changing up that color to where people aren't seeing, or the fish aren't seeing something like that, really helps out. I think plays a big role in it. So,
see what else I got in here for deep. Okay, right now talk about confidence lures when the bite is tough, and the bite's kind of tough right now for me. So this has been what I've been having the most confidence in.
The brush hog?
Baby brush hog. Yeah, green pumpkin blue, same hook, that 3/0 Superline, Gammy, EWG, 1/4 ounce weight, and I'm going with 14-pound test. And I got it rigged up on this is just a 7-foot medium Veritas rod. I've had this rod for
looky there
quite a while. Yeah, I got a couple Veritas rod. This is my favorite rod in the Veritas line, the medium, 7-foot medium. It is awesome. I mean, the downside is the guides, but I had a buddy of mine, he built rods, and so he replaced the first 3 guides with double-footed guides.
Yeah.
So it made this rod fishable again, because it was trashed. But that baby brush hog right now will get you bites. It's kind of like the speed crawl. Is those two are, if it's really, really tough, I got as much confidence in this as I do anything else, and that's kind of what I've been getting a lot of my bites on lately. So
yeah, Bass Guy said
lake right now.
number 8 fat free shad. It's another good one there.
Yeah, my buddy Jerry throws a fat free shad a lot. He catches quite a few fish on it.
Yeah, you're talking about your, plastic there, your smaller plastics. That was one thing I was going to bring into. I thought I grabbed another one, but I got it's a one-legged rage crawl. But
yeah, they don't see that.
Summer,
one-legged rage.
I mean, that's an awesome bait. You can get bit on quite a bit. So that's a good pond bait too, really. But I have to throw this one in there because everybody under the sun has seen me throw that this year, but I couldn't find my other one. It's on my rod. So, but the spinner bait, that's an absolute killer bait, even for deeper water in the summer. If you can get it down deep enough now, you don't want to throw a half ounce, probably 3/4 ounce to a 1 ounce, but that's another good one. And if you're night fishing, you get that big Colorado thumper blade on there. That's a big, big deal.
Yeah. Man, I was fishing last night after dark, and it was a full moon, and it was so eerie because I was in this area that was loaded with shad, and they were down there around the thermocline, 12 to 14 foot. And, as the sun goes down, they start moving up higher in the water column.
Right.
Well, right at dark, you could start seeing a few shad flipping around and stuff. And, there would be some small bass busting them here and there. But after the sun completely went down and that moon rose above the tree line, it looked like it was raining. There were so many shad just popping, and you could hear them just popping on top of the water. And the sun, or the moonlight, had lit up the whole surface of the water. I was kind of in this bluffy area, so the moonlight was kind of reflecting off the bluffs, and you could see pretty good out there. But everywhere you looked, you could just see those shad just bubbling, and it was kind of weird because you were expecting to be getting wet, because it just looked like your mind and your eyes were saying it's raining, but your skin was like, no, I'm not getting wet. And it's dark. So, and then right after that, I had my GPS antenna go all weird on me. So it was an interesting night. Good to see you, brothers. Gabe, thank you for your prayers. Slow shirt cover. Good, man. Good. We're thinking about you, man. We're thinking about you. You got to get that wrist healed up, man, so you can start whacking those 4 and 5 pound largemouth.
Or those snakeheads.
Or those snakeheads, yeah, no doubt. Well, here's one more I'll throw out there. I'm going to be fishing this in the same places that I fish the big football jig, and this is just kind of a Magnum shaky head, just a 1/2 ounce stand-up head on there.
Oh, it's just okay.
No, it's just a shaky head, and a wobble head's another one that we could definitely include. But this Magnum shaky head is a great bait. A lot of times you kind of got to have the 10.5 inch worm like you had. You got to have your football jig. You got to have this big stand-up head. Those are the 3 baits I'll have in my rotation on something that I'm dragging on the bottom. And a lot of times this is a fat ace, a Gambler fat ace. I've been watching a lot of Mikey Balls, so I got some Gambler products now. But this is just a big, giant Cinco looking thing. A Rage Crawl is another one I like to put on there. Magnum Finesse Worm, Magnum Trick Worm, Beaver. You can put a beaver on a big stand-up head. Not a lot of people do that, but I've caught some really nice fish doing that. If you need to get
the wobble head, that's one of my favorites is the beaver.
Right. Yeah, that's a great one too. That's another one you can drag around out there. So, when you're fishing out deep, you hear it on ledge, people talking about ledge fishing all the time. You have to have a rotation of lures, and it's not just stuff that's suspended and moving. It's, you want 3 or 4 different kind of baits that are being drug across the bottom too.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times they'll show a preference for a size and profile. Sometimes they want that worm that's long and slender. And then sometimes they want something like a beaver or a hard, biffle bug or something that's fatter or wider. And then sometimes they want a straight-tailed worm. So you gotta have a little bit of everything out there just to give them an option.
like David said, the Gamble Ace on a lot of pros decks kept very quiet. Yep.
Yeah, it's cool, man. I just like I said, I made a little order. I got some gamblers stuff, and I got some big bite bait stuff. Which remind me, I'll show you that new the new what's it called? The BFE, best flipper ever. You know, Bass Talk Live, Matt Pengrack and Bradley Hallman. That's the new bait that they came out with. I got three packs of those. And
Flipper ever, huh?
yeah, BFE. Yeah, if you've been watching Bass Talk, listen to Bass Talk Live, and you've been hearing them talk about it.
I haven't.
They teamed up with
my biggest.
Well, too, since we're talking about them.
Crazy.
They teamed up with Big Bite Baits, which they're sponsors of anyway. But they developed a flipping bait, and Bradley Hallman and Hanger came up with what's called the BFE, and here's what it looks like. It's kind of like a
half
crawl, but this is solid right here. This flipper is solid. Now you can take scissors and split it for sure.
Right.
And it's actually smaller than what I thought it was going to be.
Well, I would imagine that's probably mimicking a bluegill fin, a tail.
Yeah.
Kind of small, you know.
That's what I would say too. This is the tilapia color. But if you guys are familiar with Big Bite Bait's ring crawl, this is a lot smaller than that. It's quite a bit smaller. So I'm thinking a 4-aught and probably a 3-aught hook would work great on this. And it's got a little slide. You probably won't be able to see it, but there's a slide in there. There's a hook slide in there.
Yep.
See there or not, but
yeah.
Interesting little bait. I haven't thrown it yet because I just got. Yeah, you can see that slot right there. I just got these, so I haven't had a chance to flip these yet. But kind of excited.
Well, now that you're on that whole deal of the flipping, I have to bring this out because Tackle Junkie is actually one that got me hooked on these things. And I'll tell you what, it is very hard for me to get away from a rage crawl. Very, very hard. It's probably going to be one of my top 3 baits ever. But this one is really, really went up there. And I'd almost hold it identical with that rage crawl. But that's that little vial crawl from Biospawn.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I really like these is one is the body of it is a little bit tougher plastic. It's not real soft. They last a little longer, but these things for that little design, that little narrow design like that, or hopefully it's picking all that up, but it goes through vegetation and everything so smooth. That's what I really like about that. And the appendages on it, it's got, several different appendages you can pull apart there. I usually dye this whole little, I don't know what you want to call it, little dinger in the middle. But anyway,
I wasn't going to say it. I was going to let you say it.
Safe, and Denny Hall's not on here, so we're good.
Yeah, no kidding.
But yeah, that's you're talking about punching and stuff like that with that one. That's probably one of my favorite baits in the last couple of years, right there. So
yeah, I think you gave me a pack of those.
I might have, yeah, they're pretty impressive.
I was using those as a swim bait trailer too. I think this year caught some fish on them.
Well, and I'm glad you said that because on that swim jig, that thing with that particular one, that thing actually keeps that thing just level. It don't twirl or roll on you or nothing. I really do like that about it. So
it's a good jig trailer, good swim jig trailer.
Let's see, Fred Harper. Hey guys, what's your opinion on Lou's custom speed stick with the G clutch handle? That was from Fred Harper. Put it up there for you.
With the G clutch handle, I'm actually not familiar with that one. I have to admit, I've got a lot of the Lou's rods. I've got the Lou's custom, and then I've got the custom light, and I've been happy with both of those. That line of rods, both lines of rods actually. But as far as the custom speed stick with the G clutch handle, I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah. So why well fishing said something about the trailer. Is he referring to the BFE on that? I guess.
Cumberland Rollers had to comment and said looks like our awesome looking bait looks like a great trailer. Yeah.
Yeah, it might be. It's round though. Of course, I don't know. Typically, I like stuff that's flatter for trailers, but I'm going to be pitching this thing around. You know, when you get something you got confidence in, you're going to dry it out, and you're either going to have a bunch of them laying in the bottom of the boat that didn't work, or you're going to be out of them because you tore them all up.
Yeah, exactly.
Together.
I
got another little. What's that?
Is it a stiff plastic or a softer plastic?
It's kind of a medium. Here's the green pumpkin color, which everybody knows what that, green pumpkin, pretty standard. But it's kind of a medium. I think it's going to hold up really good.
Now, it's got a hardened head in it. I know some of them.
Yeah, the whole thing is solid. So it's not like a traditional tube where it's hollow in the middle.
Right.
The whole thing is solid. Of course, it's got the rings, and this is kind of a bubble shaped thing here in the middle. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I haven't had it in the water. Probably Friday or Saturday, I'm gonna be doing some pre-fishing. I got a tournament on Sunday, so everything I've been fishing has been out deep. That's where the fish are, and I'm so ready for these. I got one more Wednesday nighter, and then I've got another tournament Sunday on Cedar. And I'm ready for them to be over because I'm tired of dragging a stupid worm out deep. I'm so tired of it. And all I've been doing is focusing all my energy on running around and looking for brush in 12 to 14 foot of water off of points and off of channel swing banks. That's what I've been doing for like the last 3 weeks. I'm tired of it. I want to go do some fun stuff. Even if I don't get bit, I want to go throw a frog. I want to just pitch.
Are you done with your little pity party?
I'm done, man. Thanks for the rant.
I've been stuck here.
I know. I'm sorry. I'll
go nail some brush piles and everything. I don't care right now. Anything.
Yeah, one man's ceiling's another man's floor. That's my bad.
Yeah, no biggie.
First
we were
problem, man.
Talking about the plastic on that bait and everything. I have to say, I think Missile had come out with probably the best scenario for plastics and being soft. When they come out with that D-bomb and it's got that little bit of a hardened head on top where you
these things, man.
Yeah. But anyway,
they're made for kids' ears, I guess.
Yeah. But anyway, they've got that hardened top on the very top of the bait where you penetrate your hook through it the first time. And it really holds up on a hook keeper really good. But the rest of the plastic is real soft. So I think, in my opinion, as far as flipping baits, I think they've got the best setup for that. But, there's a lot of other ones out there. I like the actual, overall, like style of it or whatever, but.
Well, you're speaking of Missile baits, and I just happen to have another product from Missile baits that I've been kind of dying to find out about. It's the quiver. So it's a straight worm with a little cut. It's not a cut tail. It's like a flipper almost.
If you hold it still, I can see it.
Well, I was trying to show you the tail.
You're wiggling your worm way too fast.
It's so limber. Look at there. Hold still, buddy. Got to get it back. 6.5 inch worm. Very soft. Very, very limber. I mean, this was designed to be on a shaky head or like a necker rig, weighted wacky. And I fished it the other day on a shaky head and got some bites. Now it's kind of fat right through here. So you're going to have almost a 4/0 round bend hook on your shaky head. A 3/0 is almost, I missed a couple fish because I didn't have enough bend, enough gap in my hook. So it's kind of a meaty worm, but I like this design. It's just something different. Instead of just having a regular straight tail shaky head, you got this little,
I've got a couple
whatever they call it.
like that, but the tail is that way because it got smashed in my lid, but.
There you go. That's probably where the design came from.
Probably.
Yeah. So I'm curious. I just bought one pack of these, and I'm going to be trying them out. And
dang, Jordan back in the house. How's it going, man? I haven't seen you in a while.
Kidding, man. He's been catching some big old catfish.
Yeah, he caught some studs. He's getting ready to drop video on. I seen. Holy cow. John's got something here for you.
Okay, Gabe, you're using baits in the 3.25 to 4 inch range for flipping. Do you prefer slim or thicker creatures? Well, both. A lot of times, if I'm pitching shallow wood, I find myself flipping a brush hog a lot, like a full-size brush hog or a rage crawl. And I could be fishing a beaver as well. So all three of those kind of have different sizes and different shapes, slim and thicker. I kind of consider a beaver, it's thinner, although it is wider. So it depends on, if you're looking at it from the top or the side. And then a brush hog is it's a pretty bulky bait. It's got a pretty big presence. That's the three that I'm going to be flipping the most. If there's grass involved, I try to get away with that beaver or a D-bomb, either one, something that's got less appendages on it through. Yeah, and sometimes I'll even flip a worm. There's nothing wrong with flipping a 10-inch worm up shallow, or a 9-inch worm. Get a lot of bites like that. As soon as I get off here, I'm going to think about another 20 other baits that I like to pitch up shallow. But no, it just depends. If I start getting bites on a certain bait, I'll run with that and I'll fish it probably, for another couple of weeks or so. It's kind of strange. The fish right now will get on a certain profile of bait. And I've seen Ron on here. Me and Ron have talked about this, and me and Jerry have talked about this, but they'll show a preference for one profile over another on any given day. So if you got two people in a boat and one guy's throwing a jig and one guy's throwing a worm, there's a pretty good chance that one will outfish the other on that given day. And I'm talking 2 or 3 to 1. For whatever reason, I do not know. And then the very next day you can go down that same stretch and they'll like the worm versus the jig. One day the jig versus the worm, one day or the brush hog versus the hardhead or whatever it is. So back to what you were saying. So if I'm pitching and I find something that they like, I'll keep using that until they show me that they don't want it anymore. And then I'll try to make an adjustment. So it just depends on the day, really.
Yeah. And Hank had a pretty good question here too. Do you choose the trailers based on a fall rate?
Well, yeah, definitely.
Now I'm going to throw this out there. If I'm flipping heavy mats and stuff, I don't on that, because I'm usually throwing a heavy enough weight. It's not going to matter what I have on the other end. It's not going to change that fall rate.
Right.
But if I'm fishing shallow running grass, then then definitely.
Yeah, and that's probably, to me, that's one of the most tricky things to figure out when you're flipping shallow is that fall rate. It's overlooked. A lot of times, it's this one good thing about having two people in the boat. If you guys are both flipping up shallow, sometimes one guy will be catching more fish, and a lot of times it's not so much the bait that they're throwing, it's the fall rate. And you got to pay attention to that, and it's a lot of times it's the last thing you think about. You're like, okay, they're not hitting a worm, I need to switch to a rage crawl. Okay, they're not hitting a rage crawl, I need to switch to a brush hog. Well, a lot of times it can be that profile, but each one of those baits falls at a different rate, even with the same weight on there. And a lot of times you overlook it. A lot of times it's the fall rate. And that's a good question, because it's hard to determine. You almost have to have everything tied up on your deck. Say a 1/4 ounce, 3/8 ounce, and a 1/2 ounce on a beaver in the same color on 3 different rods, and kind of play around, but unfortunately, you don't usually have, I don't know, in my boat, I'm not going to have 3 of the exact same things tied on.
And that's why
if you got confidence in that, you can.
I'll throw that out there. That's just a young dinger. And you're talking about fall rate. And one of the reasons I throw a dinger most of the time is because it has such a slow fall rate. You go with the Gary Yamamoto, the actual Cinco, and that thing, it sinks pretty quick. Just throwing a weightless. It's got a ton of salt in it, whatever. But that young dinger, it didn't have all that salt in it like that or whatever, and it does not sink nearly as fast as the rest of them, in my opinion.
Yeah, Georgia Bassmaster says he likes a super slow fall rate for shallow water. And see Bubbaville Bassin. Yeah, man, it was good to meet you, man. Good to meet you. I'll check out your channel later. That fall rate can be crucial. Sometimes it doesn't matter, and sometimes it's not falling fast enough. I've had that happen too. Even pitching shallow, I've had it where I'm pitching a 1/4 ounce and not getting a lot of bites, and I'll switch up to a 1/2 ounce, and I'm talking in 3 foot of water. They want that thing just flying by them, and I think when it hits the bottom, it makes a noise and it kind of stirs up some soot.
Well,
and I've had that happen.
and this is just from watching my pond so much, because I got so much fishing time to do. But if you watch small frogs, when you're walking next to the bank, watch what they do when they hit the water. They hit that water and they go straight down and dig into the mud to hide. That's why. That's where I think that comes from. They think it's a frog entering in there and digging down in that mud to try to get away. That's just my.
You're telling me that I need to be putting 1 ounce tungsten in front of my frogs.
Well, I didn't say that, but I mean, it could work. It could work.
I could be catching more fish if I was punching a frog, like a hollow belly frog punching it.
I haven't tried it, so I can't say it wouldn't work. But
nobody's doing it. It should penetrate through the grass just fine. It's weedless.
Yeah,
but that's an interesting observation, man. Who knows?
I see it all the time. A lot of them little frogs. Like as soon as you go in there, I mean, they'll jump into the water and they immediately go straight down and dig into that mud to hide.
Huh. Wow. Good call. I got one more deep bait, and that's just a small finesse shaky head. That's that quiver on there actually. But I like it when the bite's really, really tough. It's baby brush hog, the speed crawl, or the 3/8 ounce, not 3/8 ounce, but 3/16 ounce jig head on 8-pound test. Fish really, really slow, and you hope it doesn't ever have to come to that, but it does sometimes. It just does. It's just the way it is.
Especially this time of year.
Yeah, in the middle of the day right now, it's tough. Yeah. Oh, punch a horny toad. You know what? My buddy Jerry catches fish on a horny toad, fishing them like a fluke, which is weird. He lets them sink.
I can see that.
And twitches them, and they look like a big shad, when they turn sideways. And I thought about doing this a couple years ago, and I keep forgetting to do it. But putting a horny toad, rig it sideways on a big 1/2 ounce or 3/4 ounce jig head, like something you'd put a big swim bait on.
Yeah.
And just swim in it because it has that big fat shad profile, and it would have the 2 legs that look kind of like like a tail. I've never done it, but I thought about it.
Yep. Here you go. Shaky head versus Ned rig.
Shaky head, just because of I've had a lot more experience with the shaky head, and the Ned rig seems to get hung up so much that I get frustrated. I've given it time. I have given that. Are you?
Yeah.
Well, that's because you've been catching
like
one.
I said, that's just because of this one right here. That is absolutely. I'm not a big finesse guy, but I like that. I mean, it's phenomenal. Like I said, it don't get hardly hung up or anything. I don't know. Okay. I like it. So.
Well, there you go. I need to try those again.
Have you thrown those I'm going the wrong way. Those biospawn worms?
I have. I caught a pretty good fish at Run Lake on that exact same color.
Yeah, I'm liking it. I'm digging it. So it's pretty good.
You're putting that on setup. Is that on a Ned head?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're going Ned head over shaky head. Yep. I was thinking shaky head over there. Okay. I like to put a 4-inch yum dinger a lot of times on that shaky head. That seems to get a lot of bites for me. It's a fatter. It's finessey, but it's fatter. Gives the fish something to.
Yeah, I was big into the robo worms for a while there on shaky head, but just kind of got away from it.
Right.
Let's
Ron says a lake specific on a Ned rig. Yeah, I know where Ron likes to use a Ned rig.
I'm sure I could probably find a place or name a place. So what up shallow for summer? Tough summer bite. You got anything for up shallow?
Well, the Cinco is hard to beat up shallow. It's just that thing always gets bites. I don't know why. It's the dumbest looking thing in the world. It doesn't do anything, and maybe that's why it gets bites, because I kind of theorize that it looks like one of those pin minnows or shore minnows that you see zipping around in the grass. Those green minnows that maybe have that little lighter tan spot on their head, or a fathead minnow or something. I think it's got that kind of shape to it. Right. It's just it just looks like an easy, defenseless piece of meat out there swimming around, or just laying on the bottom. They can just come suck it up. But that as far as tough conditions, shallow, I mean, Cinco's hands down probably the best thing to go with.
Definitely hard to beat. So
yeah, they're deadly, man.
Yeah. And I don't care where you're at. I don't care if it's overfish or not. That's a go-to bait for that. It always works. And I know we won't get real in depth with it, but the frog, the hollow body frog, man, there's nothing showing up tonight. This sucks. But hollow body frog, that's a must in the summertime. Obviously a buzz bait, stuff like that. I would actually say, a square bill is another big one I go to up shallow.
Well, my confidence bait, and you guys are watching some of my videos, you'll know that this right here, this is just a black and blue swim jig with a green pumpkin trailer. It's really strange. I can always get a bite on this. This doesn't matter what kind of day it is. Now, I may not catch the biggest fish, and I may not catch a lot of fish, but if I put this in my hand and run it for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and just stay committed to it, throw it around the right areas, even on a tough day where you can't really get bit on a shaky head or, even a Cinco maybe, for some reason, this is just finessey enough, just subtle enough, but it also produces a reaction bite. And I'm not talking just throwing it out and reeling it in. We've talked about how to work this is, just like a spinnerbait. It's popping it, it's changing the retrieve, like speeding it up, letting it fall when it gets close to cover. Sometimes even letting it go all the way to the bottom of the lake, popping it back up. And ripping it through little grass clumps and stuff. But as far as having confidence in tough conditions, this is something that, I seem like I can always get a bite on it on a tough day. If I just put my hands for a little bit.
I had that out too. That's,
black and blue or white, either one.
Yeah. That's probably the only two colors I ever throw. I mean, I've got other ones. I've got some green pumpkin ones and stuff like that. But like you just said, the black and blue or that white and chartreuse. I think those are the two main colors that I throw most of the time. They always perform, even like you said, even on tough days.
Right. And then one more thing, this is kind of a variation of the Cinco, is like the tail weighted Cinco is something a little bit different. It doesn't get fished much, and I probably shouldn't be talking about it, but that's another little sneaky finesse thing.
Yep.
And then the speed crawl and the baby brush hog, up shallow or deep anywhere, but just small stuff right now. You got a lot of young of the year bluegill right now that are up shallow, up to about 8 foot deep, all the way up to the bank. You've got that class, this year's class. I guess it's this year's class of bluegill, but a lot of them are in that, they're in that 2 to 3 inch range. So that's why that baby brush hog and that little speed crawl have been working. That's my theory on it. It mimics that smaller forage base that's up there shallow. So that's if you wanted to get bites, that's something to definitely throw.
I completely agree, because my pond is filled with those little bitty ones, and they're all up the top of the water. They're up there smacking and everything else, getting little bugs off the top of the water. And about every 10 minutes, you'll hear, and they're gone.
That's it. Game over.
Yeah,
it was a short life. Short life.
Like I said,
it's a tough life, man.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on in my pond this year, but my bass, I mean, you know how it is. Typical or summer bass. They're long, they're skinny, they don't get real fat. Some of them every once in a while they're healthy, but they're not real fat. But for whatever reason, my pond has just been. I mean, the bass have been huge in there. I mean, they're fat. And I guess, like you just said, they've got the bluegill that come out, and they're getting munched. I mean, there's just, I won't have much of a bluegill population next year, but that's fine. So
that's all right. I'd trade bluegill population for big fat bass any day.
Yeah, no kidding.
We've got a few more questions down here that just kind of popped up.
Yeah, I was just looking through there. So Whitewell said, owner makes a finesse weedless Ned head. Just got some, waiting for some rivers. Oh, for waiting some rivers. I got you. Which I thought you went to, where was it? He was going somewhere to do some river fishing.
It was the Tippecanoe River, and he caught a pretty nice smallmouth. I saw a little video of it. He had a jumper, man. It looked like a trout. That thing got about 4 foot out of the water.
Dang.
So I bet that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. See, Georgia Bassmaster says I actually caught 7 bass on Saturday slow rolling in Alabama rig in about 15 foot deep water. First time I fished it in midsummer. That's pretty much a winter and early spring bite for me, but I don't know. Do you ever
he
go
needs,
summer?
I don't, but he needs to hook up with Ron, my buddy Ron, because Ron slips that thing out every once in a while, like in the summertime, that A-rig over there.
He's
Yeah, it
sneaky.
didn't sound right. Yeah. But I remember Kentucky Lake, a lot of those BFLs out on the ledges, those guys, there were guys that I remember one guy in particular, he had 3 A-rigs out, and this is like a July tournament. That was what he had on his front deck, 3 A-rigs, different size swim baits. So obviously they work anytime there's bait fish involved, you can get some bites on that A-rig. I think the reason I don't throw it this time of year is because you have so many other options. In the wintertime, you've got a jerk bait, a jig, shaky head, and an A-rig, some variety of those. In the summertime, you've got your frogs, your punching, you got all that other stuff mixed in there. And you don't have room on the deck of your boat for something with 5 arms and 5 hooks. You can't put your other 14 rods on the deck, man. You have to put something back in the locker.
All right, well, so the Nico rig is deadly. Absolutely. Tom said, I've been listening the whole time. We're back from the lake. Grandson caught 1 bluegill, and he caught 1 small bass on the spinner bait. Hey, at least you didn't come home empty-handed. That's a
Good
plus.
for grandson.
Josh said green pumpkin. Whoa, hang on. Green pumpkin jig with an Okeechobee crawl color rage tail. Always my go-to color combo. There you go. That's a good. So
that Okeechobee crawl is such a good color.
And
it's got everything kind of. Do what?
Ron's like, shh.
Yeah, exactly. But it's got both of the colors that fish like. Yeah, it's got that blue and that green pumpkin.
Yeah. Cumberland Pro wants to know if you're planning on making this fishing trip to the strip pits. So they look incredible.
Yeah, that place is really fun, Isaac. There's like 50 lakes, and the hardest thing about it is there's no information on those lakes. I mean, in fact, I would say that the couple videos that I've ever released are probably, I don't know this for sure, but they've got to be one of the only, pieces of social media on those lakes, because I researched, I tried to find some. There's a few old fishing reports and there's some really loose stuff, but you got to go and find out for yourself, and you talk about pressure. You're trying to, you got a trip planned, and you want to capture some content, and you're going to this lake that it might be a gar hole. There may not be a bass caught out there in 20 years. So it's really grassroots fishing. But like I said, there's 50 of them, and they're hit and miss. A couple of them have just been horrible. They've been just good lakes as far as panfish, but as far as bass fishing, no. So I've got there's about 3 or 4 more that I want to fish. I've kind of talked to some people and kind of whittled away some of the bad lakes. So
I was going to say, now that I found out that I can actually take my boat over there and idle around.
Yeah, and it's close. It's not too far for you.
Yeah.
But I got one more video. I was over there a couple of weeks ago, and I've got the footage that I'm going to probably start working on it in the next couple of days. And it's going to be a challenge because my mic that I had set up for my back cam, I had just a little lapel mic wireless that was feeding off my back cam. It's messed up, and it came unsoldered in there. So it may give me 2 hours of good audio, and then all of a sudden it just decides that it wants to start crackling. Well, long story short, I'm going to have to sync my audio off of my chest cam to the rear cam, because I'm doing a lot of talking, but the mic's not picking up. So I'm just talking to a ghost mic basically, but it's picking up on my chest cam. So I don't know if you've ever tried to sync up audio from 2 different. It's almost impossible. If you're like a millisecond off, it looks like Chinese Kung Fu theater. So I'm going to have to be sitting down and see if I can salvage some of this. But I got some footage from those strip pits, and I caught some good fish again from different lakes. So it's coming. I want to get back up there.
Yeah. Let's see where we're at here. Which Ron sent you a nice little message too.
Oh, he did? I didn't check my phone.
Yeah. So 251 reeling. What's up, fellas? This is Paul D. Oh, you changed your name, man?
Yeah, that's right. Paulie D, what's up?
Said Josh Lee said strip pit, the ones in Southern Illinois. Yes, they are.
Yep, I see that picture, and he's got short sleeve t-shirt on and shorts.
Uh-huh. So. Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty recent.
Yep. 251 Reeling says, got 2 high school anglers hitting Lake Gunnerville, Lay Lake, and Lake Martin in September. Anyone got any tips? I haven't fished any of the lakes, but I would say, let's see, that's north. In September, so they're still going to be on their summer bite, I would imagine, down there.
Yeah, I would think so. They're still probably going to be at, well, Gunnersville has a lot to offer. They could be anywhere.
Yeah.
My suggestion would Mikey Balls. I'm sure you've heard of Mikey Balls. He's a content creator, excellent YouTube channel. In fact, he's one of my favorites. But he's down in Gunnersville now, so he's been posting a lot of stuff from Gunnersville. So that's somebody I'd probably keep an eye on. Maybe as it got closer to time for you guys to take off and do some pre-fishing and stuff, I would check his channel. He's hooked up with a lot of guys, a lot of guides and people that are in the know down there. So he has some pretty current and timely fishing content on his channel that would probably put you in the right direction. As far as the other lakes, Lay Lake and Lake Martin, I don't know how to help you on those.
Check out, Gerald Swindle. He's from that area anyway. I'd be willing to bet somewhere in his video logs he's got something on him.
Yeah, I would say Gunnersville is going to be, you're going to have two options, shallow grass stuff or probably out ledge type stuff. I would say they'd be either committed to one or the other.
I was going to say probably offshore grass mats.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got the main river channel, and then you got a lot of flats that have just kind of scattered grass or thick mats.
Yeah, something with deep water by it.
And then Lake Martin. I'm not familiar. I've never fished either one of those other lakes. So I'm sure you could find some stuff on there. I wish I could help you more on that.
Yeah. Josh Lee said, have either of you guys taken a boat out on Washington Conservation Lake?
No, I haven't. It seemed that rings a bell. I was kind of doing some research on lakes to go check out. Maybe you keyed me in on that. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where that's at. I have to see. Josh, no, we're from southern Missouri, but we're right on the border of Illinois, so we go fishing over there quite a bit.
I'm in Illinois all the time. It's probably why you think I'm from Illinois.
Yeah. He said not far from Nashville, Illinois.
Yeah, so that's going to be several hours away from us. I think it's like 3.5 hours or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brian says he's got a throw wrap coming. Looks like fun. Can't wait to throw it. Brian, I tell you what, I've tried setting up for it a couple of times. It just hasn't worked out. But the Lunker Hunt Spider, I want to do a video. I want to do a little topwater video on that one just to see. I think that'd be a pretty neat little deal. So it's just hard to get it. I got a lot of setup that it's involved in this one, so we'll see how it turns out. But
you'll have to use a spinning rod. Do you have a spinning rod?
Yes, I have a spinning rod.
Okay. Just making sure. You can borrow one of mine. Can I borrow your Barbie rod?
No, I'm sure if I've got one. If it fails, I guess I can go to the Backlash King. You can.
Lost my earpiece again. I'm glad it's not a hearing aid.
Yeah, no kidding. No, I said if mine fails, I can ask the Backlash King, see if I can borrow his.
Who said that?
No, I said that.
Oh, you said that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're talking about a rat. I ordered some new frogs that are supposed to be coming in. They're the Launch Master by Snagproof. Have you seen those? They're like a month behind on the orders, but I got 3 or 4 of them coming. It's a JT Kenny was talking about them the other day, and I'm kind of been looking for some different frogs, but I will be showcasing those when I get them. I'll pull them on the channel here and show you guys. It's gonna be like a couple weeks before they're here. I'm excited about those. Joe's had experience with the spider.
There's dead crappie everywhere. Where was that at? Oh, at Washington County Lake. Just had a fish kill. Oh, that sucks.
Well, I'm glad I didn't make a 3.5 hour drive up there.
Yeah, Joe said the spider catches fish. I tore him up on there last year on Grassy. I definitely think it's going to catch fish. I just wonder how long it's going to last. So, and how the hookup ratio is going to be, because they got some smaller hooks in them.
Huh. Yeah, John says the Wacky Cinco's and with a nail is a killer.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I don't throw that enough. I've thrown it for a little bit, but I need to commit like a couple hours and get a little more confidence in that, because I know it catches fish. And I think it'd be a good look for these fish that are getting so heavily pressured in these areas that I'm fishing, because they're seeing a lot of this stuff.
You're there 8 times a week.
You know, I know I should have nothing but like 5-pounders on all my videos, but I don't.
All right, let's see. Spitter won't last long. It tears up easy. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. Someone said the 6 cents the poppin' frog looks awesome. Looking forward to trying those out.
Yeah, you know, if your Lake Fork guides, Captain Ron and B. Lawson, are moving from the Scro Poppin' Frog to the 6 cents, that they got a lot of confidence. They got a lot of confidence in that 6 cents Poppin' Frog. Yeah.
Joe says reglue the legs before you use it. That's awesome. Oh, the Swamp Donkey and the Terminator, really good frogs if you're looking for something different. These baseline Spro. Yeah. Like I said, I showed this a while ago. That was a Terminator frog there. God, I keep going the wrong way. But that's an awesome little frog, and the body's real soft. So the hookup ratio is unbelievable on this thing, but that's probably one of my biggest go-to frogs right there.
You know, I got some of those Gavacho frogs. They had a sale on them last fall, and they cast excellent, and they have a really unique walking action. They're super easy to walk, and they're a popping frog. But the hookup ratio, I don't know if you guys are familiar with any of these, anybody that's on here with the Gavacho frog, if they've had problems with the hookup ratio, because I missed a couple really big fish on that frog. So I love how it casts. I love the action of it, but man, you can't be missing big fish in key situations on it. So I've got 2 of those that I'll sell somebody for a real good price if they're interested in them. I'm very disappointed.
Right?
Yeah, $40.
So
I'll make you a deal.
Looks like we're all caught up here, so hopefully we'll get some fishing done this week. I will be out Thursday fishing, and I got a tournament Saturday I'm fishing. So
right.
Where's
your tournament at?
WAP.
Okay.
So
good luck, man.
Have you been down there lately?
No, I haven't. A guy on my route has. I'll see what he did down there. It's probably going to be up.
Yeah, I asked. They got their own Facebook page and everything for Lake WAP, but I asked someone the other day. I was just kind of curious because I haven't fished it in probably 2 years now, because the last time it was flooded and everything else. But anyway, I asked. I said, "Hey, just curious how the bite has been down there." You know. That's all I wanted. I wasn't asking what to use or nothing like that. And these guys, these little trolls, oh my God. They were on me like, oh, it must be a kids tournament and this and that. And, the other guys are like, oh, it's 80-foot bluff walls and it's a real slow bite. I'm like, man, you guys are absolute trolls. Like, I asked a simple question, just how the bite was. I didn't ask what you were throwing or where to catch them. So if any of you guys are doing that, I'm calling you out.
It's like Whitewell likes the Gavacho. Good, man. I'm glad you like it. I like it too. I just can't hook fish on it. I don't like where the weight placement is on it, and the hook is super thick. So I don't know. Maybe I'll give it another shot.
All right, man. Well, Hank said he's fishing Toho Sunday too. So good luck to Hank. I know that lake's been kicking his butt this year. So
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks for inviting me on here from way down south. It's good to be able to get on here.
So you coming back up next week, right? So
Yeah, I plan on it, man. I plan on it.
All right. Well, I guess we will see everybody next week. We'll be on Tin Horse Monty's channel next week, so make sure you join in for that. I'm sure we'll send out reminders and some Facebook stuff and Instagram stuff. So I guess we'll see everybody next week. And if you guys think of a good topic to talk about or something you guys want to hear, so let us know. We'll see what we can do. So hopefully we'll have good news to talk about after our tournaments this weekend.
I hope so, man. Yeah, no doubt. All right, Greg. I'll talk to you later, man.
All right. See you guys.
All right. Peace.